Swiatek switches focus to Billie Jean King Cup. Alcaraz shares moment with football icon as Zheng Qinwen shares luxury photoshoot. In a new daily dose of social media, Carlos Alcaraz reached the top of the rankings after his third win at these ATP finals and celebrated on social media, in addition to being seen in a meeting with Juventus legend Alessandro Del Piero, present at the center court in Turin. Furthermore, Iga Swiatek is preparing for a final challenge this year in the Billie Jean King Cup playoffs and shared some photos prior to her training. On another note, Zheng Qinwen reappeared on social media with photos for her sponsor, the luxury brand Dior, while Alexandra Ila shared some photos and videos from her vacation in the Philippines, as she enjoys her off-season. Ila shares photos from Philippines vacation. Alexandra Ila shared some photos from her vacation in the Philippines, where she is enjoying her off-season time after a great 2025 season. The 20-year-old was one of the breakthrough stars of the season, reaching the semifinals of the WTA 1000 Miami Open, with 2 wins against top 5 players along the way, and climbed into the top 50 by the end of the season. At 20 years old, Ila has emerged as the most successful Filipina tennis player of all time, being the first to enter the top 100 and the only one with appearances in the main draw of a Grand Slam. The former U.S. Open junior champion will begin the 2026 season as one of only 6 players under 21 in the top 50, seeking her first professional title after falling in her only final played at the Eastbourne International. Family time. Medvedev rests in the Maldives. Daniil Medvedev concluded his season a few weeks ago after his participation in the Paris Masters and quickly set out to enjoy some family vacation time after a busy season. The former world no. One shared some family photos on the beaches of the Maldives alongside his daughters, Elisa, born in 2022, and Vika, born in early 2025. Medvedev achieved some good campaigns in the final part of the year, which allowed him to advance in the rankings, from No. 18 just a few weeks ago to a year-end ranking of No. 13. The Russian reached the semifinals of the Shanghai Masters, then claimed the title at the Almaty Open a month ago, after 2 seasons without winning titles, and then reached the quarterfinals at the Paris Masters, totaling 14 wins in his last 18 appearances. Zheng Qinwen poses for Dior. The Paris 2024 gold medalist Zheng Qinwen recently reappeared on social media with a photo shoot for one of her sponsors, the luxury brand Dior, where she posed in a black dress and a beach-style bag from the French brand. The former world No. 5 had a complicated year, marked by irregular results and injuries that plagued her and forced her to miss much of the second half of the year. The 23-year-old Chinese player only played 1 tournament since returning to the hard courts after Wimbledon. She missed the entire North American swing after undergoing surgery, and in her return at the China Open, she had to retire in the second round against Linda Noskova while trailing in the third set, 4-6, 6-3, 0-3. Zheng will begin the next season with a drop in the rankings to No. 24. Alcaraz celebrates top-rank clinch with Juventus legend. Carlos Alcaraz celebrated another victory this Thursday at the ATP Finals in Turin, after defeating Lorenzo Musetti in straight sets. The 6-time major champion secured finishing the year as World No. 1 in addition to group leadership on his way to the semifinals for the second time in his career. The 23-year-old Spaniard had a special encounter in Turin with a city football legend, retired former footballer Alessandro Del Piero, the iconic Juventus player. The new world No. 1 had a friendly greeting with a football star in the locker rooms, where everything was joyful for Alcaraz, who finishes a season as No. 1 for the second time in his career. The young Spaniard's next challenge will be in the semifinals against the winner between Felix Auger-Aliassime and Jannik Sinner. De Minaur jumps for joy as Alcaraz win seals his semifinal spot. There is another player who celebrated Alcaraz's victory as his own, as Alex de Minaur secured his passage to the semifinals of the ATP Finals after the Spaniard's convincing victory. The Australian had defeated Taylor Fritz in the first match of the day, keeping alive his hope of qualifying. But for that to happen, he needed Carlitos to overcome the local player Musetti in the closing match. In a social media post, he even joked, thanking Alcaraz, "ET's GOOOOOO. Thanks for the support and the crazy atmosphere these days, Semis next." P.S. Grusha said Carlitos Alcaraz. De Minaur, who had lost his duels against Alcaraz and Musetti, ended up overcoming the round-robin thanks to a favorable difference in games, and with only one win out of 3 matches, which was a straight-sets victory against Fritz. The Australian unexpectedly advanced to the semifinals, where he will face Zheng Qinwen, with whom he has a -0-12 record. Swiatek leads Polish team into Billie Jean King Cup playoffs. Iga Swiatek shared photos of her preparation for the Billie Jean King Cup playoffs, which will be played this weekend. The 6-time Grand Slam champion will lead her country in Group P, which will pit them against New Zealand and Romania in search of a spot in the qualification zone that will be disputed next February. The world know. 2 opted to join the Polish team this time, having pulled out of the Billie Jean King Cup late last year due to fatigue following the WTA finals. She is joining Katarzyna Kowa, Linda Klimovikova, and Martina Kupka. Swiatek's last competition was the WTA finals, where she was eliminated in the round-robin after 2 losses and only 1 win against Madison Keys. The Pole had a roller coaster of a season, winning 3 titles, including Wimbledon, and finishing with a 62-17 record.